Join me as I take on the challenge of living big in a tiny house while embracing a minimalist lifestyle for a whole month. The idea of living big in a tiny house might seem like an oxymoron, but it's a concept that's gaining popularity fast. With the rise of minimalism, more and more people are realizing that they don't need a lot of space to live a fulfilling life. In fact, tiny houses are becoming increasingly popular, especially among millennials who are looking for a more sustainable and affordable way of living. One of the biggest concerns people have when it comes to tiny houses is the lack of space. Where do you put all your stuff? How do you fit a kitchen, bathroom, and bedroom into a tiny space? And what about all the things you need to store? These are all valid concerns, but the truth is, most people don't need as much space as they think they do. In fact, a lot of the things we own are just taking up space and collecting dust. Societal pressures can also be a major obstacle for people who want to transition to a tiny house. We're often taught that success is measured by the size of our house, the number of cars we own, and the amount of stuff we have. But is that really true? Does having more stuff really make us happier? The answer is no, and more people are starting to realize that. Another challenge people face is the emotional attachment we have to our belongings. We often hold on to things because of sentimental value, or because we think we might need them someday. But the truth is, most of the things we own are just holding us back. They're taking up space, collecting dust, and weighing us down. On the other hand, tiny living offers a lot of benefits. For one, it's a lot more affordable than traditional living. You don't need to worry about paying a huge mortgage or utility bills. You can also live more sustainably with a smaller carbon footprint. And let's not forget about the emotional benefits of decluttering. When you own fewer things, you have less to worry about, and you can focus on what really matters. When you live in a tiny house, you're forced to prioritize what's really important to you. You can't just buy a bunch of stuff and store it away in a closet or attic. You have to be intentional about what you bring into your space. And that's incredibly freeing. You start to realize that you don't need all that stuff to be happy. In fact, you can be happy with a lot less. I've seen people who have made the transition to tiny living, and the results are amazing. They're more relaxed, more focused, and more at peace. They're not worried about keeping up with the latest trends or trying to one-up their neighbors. They're living life on their own terms, and that's incredibly empowering. I remember a woman who I met at a tiny house festival. She had transitioned to tiny living a year ago, and the change in her was remarkable. She was more confident, more outgoing, and more relaxed. She said that tiny living had given her the freedom to pursue her passions, rather than just trying to make ends meet. She was living life on her own terms, and it was beautiful to see. Tiny living is not just about the physical space, it's about the emotional and mental space as well. It's about being intentional about what you bring into your life and what you let go of. It's about living life on your own terms, rather than trying to fit into someone else's mold. So, what can we learn from tiny living? We can learn to prioritize what's really important to us. We can learn to let go of the things that are holding us back. And we can learn to live life on our own terms, rather than trying to fit into someone else's mold. Thanks for watching, and I'd love to hear from you. What do you think about tiny living? Have you ever considered making the transition to a tiny house? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to learn more about minimalism and tiny living, be sure to check out my other videos.